Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're actually going to be taking a look inside the brand new flying air taxi, the new way of traveling, the new Uber. This is about to take Uber out, the self-flying air taxi. If you're running late to work, it can drop you off. If you're running late to get to the airport, it can also drop you off within no time and no traffic. No pee, none of that, no money traffic, no being mad at people. So with that being said, let's get into the video.
This could be the future of transport. How you get to work in the morning or maybe to the airport in time for your flight. But instead of getting into a car with a driver on the road, you get into a fully autonomous aerial vehicle in the sky. This is the 6th generation Wisk aircraft, an electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft that's designed to take off from vertiports anywhere in a crowded city and get you where you need to go, all for roughly $3 per passenger mile. Wisk says the Gen 6 is the world's first self-flying, all-electric 4-passenger eVTOL, an air taxi that will redefine transportation and reshape the skies. High-flying aviation meets on-demand ground transport, making a short hop flight as easy as ordering an Uber.
The problem we're trying to solve is super congested.
I told you, bro, as easy as ordering an Uber. Why would I want to take an Uber when I know I'm getting late? It's $3, man. It's $3. Easy as ordering an Uber. Like, would you take this flight, bro? Like, would you actually take this for $3? I am definitely taking. Some people is not going to take it, but me definitely, I am taking it because it's cheap. Some people are just scared of flying. And imagine nobody there. It's just you in that. It's just you, man. It's you in that. Just you. But a computer screen, like, it's scary though. I understand, but it's perfect. It's worth it.
Cities like LA, New York, London, Mumbai, Sao Paulo, where you're stuck in a car for an hour and a half or 2 hours. You might have 20 to 40 miles to go and you have no idea when you're going to get to the other end. And so our flights are designed to be 10 to 20 minutes roughly, and it's self-flying, so there's no pilot.
It's an ambitious goal, and one that will need a lot of community buy-in. We'll need to rethink the way we design cities, and individual passengers will need to put their faith in the machine. But Wisk says it's the company to do it, and the Gen 6 aircraft is the vehicle to get us there. We went behind the scenes at Wisk for an up-close look at how this vision for the future will actually work. Wisk was born out of Kitty Hawk, the aviation company created by Google co-founder Larry Page. After creating 5 generations of aircraft, including its 5th-gen autonomous concept...
I can't lie, yo. This looks so much like a drone. It don't even look like a plane. So much like a drone, Like, this is so much like a drone. Like, I don't get it, bro. I mean, like, I don't think people are actually going to take something that has nobody in it. But it's the future. It's futuristic. So everything is advancing, bro. Like, everything is advancing. Like,
Kitty Hawk joined forces with Boeing in 2019 to create Wisk, a company focused entirely on autonomous aviation. Kitty Hawk shuttered in 2022, but its designs and prototypes stayed with Wisk. And now the company has built on those prototypes with Gen 6, the aircraft it plans on taking to market and flying en masse. With Gen 6, Wisk did a major redesign. It increased the wingspan up to 50 feet from Cora's 33 feet and made the cabin bigger, carrying 4 passengers instead of 2. And while Wisk stuck with the electric vertical takeoff and landing, or eVTOL design of the previous generation, it totally redesigned the propulsion. Forget everything you know about a traditional aircraft, which taxis along a runway for a long takeoff like that. With an electrical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft like this one, you've got propellers that provide you that vertical lift. Then these propellers at the front here rotate around to give you propulsion in flight. The idea is that you can forget the runway.
So basically, there's no runway for this thing. It's not a plane. I don't consider it a plane. It's a taxi. There's no runway for this. It's just like a helicopter, You know how the helicopter just lift up, like, it don't move like. It just go like, it just go up. That's basically, this is a helicopter. Like, mini helicopter, basically. Mini helicopter with nobody in there, with no noise, like with no noise. It's basically a helicopter.
And you just take off vertically, fly through the air, and then land straight back down. The other big focus for Wisk is autonomy. While there are plenty of companies vying for dominance in the eVTOL space, many of them are starting out with pilots behind the controls. Instead, Wisk says its first flights will be unpiloted, taking off, flying and landing autonomously. But there will still be humans in the loop. Each aircraft will be overseen by multi-vehicle supervisors, working on the ground and watching as many as 10 aircraft at once.
Think of the supervisors that we have on the ground. They're more like air traffic controllers. They're just watching the planes. They're seeing if there's any emergencies or any things where they
This
have
is
to
basically like a traffic light. You know how the traffic light work? These people actually sitting in the rooms and just looking at you. As soon as they ready go yellow and they're ready to take that pictures. As soon as the light go yellow, and like a patient driver who's ready to run through the red light, and then the guy who's just sitting behind the screen ready to just take that picture of your license plate. This is basically how it is. You just mount behind the computer and you fly in that. Imagine the man is not actually paying attention. He's on focus, or his girlfriend just break up with him and he's having a bad day and he come to work and he's not focusing on you, man. That thing is gonna crash. Like he's not focusing on you. You think he's gonna be focusing on you, man? He's not having a good day.
intervene, but for the most part they won't. They'll just...
93% of pilot controls in commercial...
They basically trying to open like a flight control systems, like, you know, like basically, but it's not it, bro.
Aircraft today are already automated. They say going fully autonomous with vehicle supervisors on the ground watching multiple aircraft at once is not as much of a leap as we may think.
You could think about it as that pilot has stepped out of the aircraft and offloaded those repetitive tasks that weren't really the best use of their capabilities, let's say.
Full automation doesn't just mean taking off, steering and keeping the plane stable. According to Wisk, computers have been doing those jobs for decades.
But I got a question though. What if my job that I'm working at don't have that enough space? Like, let's say I'm starting work at 2 o'clock, afternoon shift, yeah? And the parking lot is full. How are you going to drop me? Because there's no space. You gonna leave me hanging to jump down? Like, how are you gonna drop me, bro? Still don't understand, but alright, let's see.
Aircraft, the company also had to create a system capable of more high-level tasks that a pilot would normally handle. Things like looking for hazards, being aware of other aircraft and flight paths, and changing course if a hazard appears. But the automation is still based on strict logic.
It's not just sort of thinking arbitrarily by itself and deciding it wants to land at a different place today versus yesterday, right? It's all very kind of procedural and rule-based. So no matter what happens, even if we lose our link to the ground, the aircraft is able to maintain safe flight and landing.
Still, no crew in the plane means a very different flight experience for passengers. All the information is going to come through on this screen rather than a flight attendant walking down the aisle to talk to you, because I don't know if you can see, but there is no aisle on this aircraft. So the idea is that you get your safety messages, you can even speak to a concierge. There's a help button above me because of course there's no one physically in the plane. All of this is managed by a controller down on the ground. So while there's no pilot, there is a human in the loop in this system. But I'm just in here with my fellow passengers. Can't smoke. Is anyone still trying to smoke on a plane anyway?
Yeah, I swear to God, bro, these weird ass people that is definitely gonna try smoking. Look at this thing, bro. It's really nice. This is way more nice than an Uber. Like, is it safe though? Because a real plane has a pilot, but people still crash. And then the computer, bro. It's not a human, but alright, let's see.
Sitting in the cabin of the Gen 6 feels a lot like sitting in a new car, minus the steering wheel. But while it might feel like an autonomous vehicle, Wisk says unpiloted aircraft are a long way from full self-driving cars.
The space that we're operating in, literally the sky, is like completely wide open when you compare it to how cluttered our ground environment is. There's clear airspace that's defined. There's processes for interacting with air traffic control, and none of that exists on the ground. It's sort of like the Wild West, honestly, when you're out there driving on the 101.
Bro, I see what these people trying to do, bro. They're just trying to get rid of all of these, bro. If you don't want to get rid of cars, just say it. Cause why you're making electric vehicles at the end of the day, then you're making this.
Not only that, but Wisk needs FAA certification to fly. That means having strict procedures built into its autonomous systems so the plane can handle any eventuality. It also means meeting a standard called 10 to the minus 9, or a 1 in 1 billion chance of having an accident. But getting the FAA on side is only part of the picture. A city full of air taxis is a big change from today. Vertiports for taking off and landing, infrastructure that supports last mile transport in the skies, all of that requires a lot of community buy-in. But
It does.
is optimistic.
Less roadways, less bridges.
Bro, this like it's involved really, really lot of community buy-in. Like, I can't even lie. That's true the lady's saying. Because, bro, it's
Less parking structures. Can you turn things into parks in city centers? So we have kind of a different view of it, that this is actually an incredible positive, that we can transform cities to be more multi-purpose instead of just like concrete and asphalt.
This Gen 6 aircraft is just a demo model. There are no batteries and it can't fly. To become a citywide transport solution, Wisk is going to need scale. That's one of the reasons it's going autonomous. The thinking is, when you don't need one highly trained pilot for every 4 passengers in an aircraft, you can get more air taxis in the sky. But it's also hoping that backing from Boeing will help it reach the scale.
So basically, before they release this, they have to build their own landing spot everywhere. So basically, they're gonna need landing spot everywhere. Because I was shocked, like, where you gonna land in a full parking spot? Like, in a full parking spot with a bunch of cars, like, where are you gonna land, my guy? But I just got the whole concept of the whole thing. It's a good thing. They're gonna need a lot of budget, but it's Wisk. It's a billion-dollar company, so there's no doubt they could do that. And I just see that, like, through the visualized thing, and they're trying to build their own landing spot, which is perfect. So it's gonna be a lot of changes in the communities, at the airport, in fact in the city. So yeah.
Needs, and it has big targets.
We're going to do a 20-city rollout within the first 5 years of launch, and we expect to have a little less than 5,000 aircraft moving close to, by 2035, close to 300 million passengers. And so it's not that hard to scale this if we make it affordable, we make it UberX-like pricing.
Bro, I see what this man's trying to do, bro. Bro, if you want to take Uber out, just say it. Because he's completely ready to destroy Uber, like, in no time. Like, Uber take off taxi, because there was a taxi at times, and Uber just destroyed taxi, and he's trying to destroy Uber. Like, get away, bro. He's the future.
Plenty of companies have had this dream, and plenty have closed or consolidated along the way, not least of all Kitty Hawk. After a decade of building aircraft and starting the Wisk joint venture with Boeing, Kitty Hawk announced it was winding down its business in September 2022. Dyson says the move doesn't have any impact on Wisk and that all Kitty Hawk's patents have stayed with the new company. But there's no doubt there's a lot of upheaval in this space. In fact, one company, SMG Consulting, even has an advanced air mobility reality index, ranking how likely it is that each company in the industry will get something off the ground, literally. For what it's worth, Wisk was ranked 6th as of August 2022. Can Wisk get 300 million passengers in the sky by 2035?
No. That is not possible. They can't get 300 million. Bro, do you know how people scared of plane? With a pilot in it, then with no pilot? Bro, I'm not doubting that dream, bro. But there's no way you're getting 300 million people at that time, bro.
Well, it'll need to build the aircraft, get them certified, and convince the community. That's a lot of people to get on board, even before the first passenger.
Definitely, bro. Like, bro, people scared, bro. Like, there's no pilot, man. Bro, can you actually get in this plane, bro? Can you actually Like there's no pilot, just a computer just taking you around like a robot, basically it's a robot in that thing just controlling it. I don't know, bro, but
community. That's a lot of people to get on board, even before.
like, look at this. This is beautiful. It's a very, very beautiful dream, but it's very scary, like, you
For
know.
the first passenger. So would you get into an unpiloted, autonomous aerial vehicle that takes off vertically from a vertiport around the city? I'm kind of excited by the concept. It certainly feels weird, but then I suppose getting into a total stranger's car felt weird when Uber first hit town. Maybe this is just the next...
Oh my days. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. But the question is, would you enter this plane, the air taxi, with no pilot? If yes, leave the comment down below and let's see. With that being said, thank you for watching. Peace out.